Hi, welcome back to my channel. This episode is entitled, Lord, What Can I Do for You? As I commune with the Holy Spirit, I am reading Psalm 78. There are so many lessons in this, so I will attempt to only go where the Lord is leading me. In the beginning, it is stressed here and throughout the Word, the importance of meditating on God's wondrous works and deeds. We are commanded to teach them to our children from generation to generation. This is also for us. With everything we face, if we remind ourselves of God's goodness in our lives, we will experience continual peace and joy that surpasses all understanding. Before I began, I thank the Lord for allowing His word to be a lamp unto my feet. This prayer is of Him. You see, the Israelites saw the miracles of God firsthand. They witnessed His power, but as stated in 78 verse 8, they did not prepare their hearts to know and follow Him. This is why Abraham told the rich man in torment after his death, when he asked that someone warn his brothers of this terrible place. He is in hell. They have Moses and the prophets. The rich man then begged that someone be sent from the dead, and then they will hear. What Abraham said next is profoundly true. If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be persuaded even if someone rises from the dead. And that's Luke 16, verses 27 through 31. God divided the Red Sea. Not only that, they walked on dry ground. The water stood as if held by a dam. They were led by a cloud by day and by a pillar of fire at night. God even split rocks to give them water to drink. I will fleetingly mention how the Lord turned their enemies' rivers into blood, even the water they had stored into vessels, the flies that devoured, the frogs that destroyed, grasshoppers and locusts that ruined and fed on their crops, the great hailstones that crushed their cattle and livestock. But not once is it recorded that they ever said, "Thank you." And I will go even further, because even today we never ask, Lord, what can I do for you today? I admit that I never asked this because of fear of what would be asked of me. But now I feel it is my duty to ask and wait for an answer, to obey. God has proven to those faithful to Him that He would be with them, equipping them with everything that they need to prevail. We don't offer because we don't believe, or we prefer to not be inconvenienced. But know that this is next level faith when you begin to do this consistently. Throughout His word, He has promised and established His faithfulness to those who believe. His supernatural favor abounds, and He remains the same today. But in our sinful nature, as the Lord provides, like manipulators and treacherous men, we continue to demand more. As God gave to the Israelites, they insisted on this with no gratitude, never willing to do anything in return. They were takers, as many people are today. This is a grievous sin rooted in selfishness and pride. It is also considered as unbelief to God, who had even given them the bread of manna, the grain of heaven. As it is written in Psalm 78, 25a, man ate the bread of angels. What the Spirit imparted to me was just how sinful their nature had become, and increasingly so. If they had received this bread in belief, with a right heart and attitude, it would have literally given their bodies power from on high. What some call power foods, manna is that ultimate source. This same bread that I believe Jesus may have been given when ministered to by the angels in the desert. The Israelites were clueless to the magnitude of these provisions. In return, they selfishly cried out and lusted for meat, many dying because of self-centered greed, spoiled and never content. Even so, after seeing all of this, they still sinned. It is written that he did not even spare their enemies' souls from death, killing their firstborn, all the while setting the distinction between his chosen and their enemies, so that none of the plagues came near the Israelites, even their enemies who chose to obey the warnings given by Moses. With the demise of some, those remaining called on him for a minute, seemingly diligent and with sincerity. But it was flattery. They thought they could deceive God, and is why God spoke. These people honor me with their mouths, but their hearts are far from me. Superficial. Please remember this as I close for right now. But he, the source of compassion and loving kindness, forgave their wickedness and did not destroy them. Many times he restrained his anger and did not stir up his wrath. And do you want to know why? For he graciously remembered that they were mere human flesh, a wind that goes and does not return. Psalm 78, verses 38 through 39 of the Amplified Version. Rebellion grieves the Holy Spirit. Read the remainder of this psalm and the realization of all the mighty works that Jesus did on their behalves and their callousness. Then ask yourself, am I exhibiting the same behaviors? How can I do better? How can I evolve into greater faith and love? Trust and faith can only be strengthened through obedience and a willing heart. Lord, what can I do for you today? Thank you for joining us again here at Benevolent Woman, always coming from a place of love. Thank you.